Hello, I'm Jeff Cavins. I'd like to take a moment to talk to you about just one of the topics in our new Walking Toward Eternity, Making Choices for Today Bible study. It's a series on various themes in life that we really need to learn more about and put into practice. The theme I'd like to talk to you about right now is forgiveness. If you're like me, you have experienced unforgiveness towards somebody else. Maybe somebody hurt you, maybe somebody said something about you or did something to you, or somebody in your family, and you found yourself so angry and caught up in emotion towards that person. I think about all the Thanksgiving meals, particularly in America here, where families get together, and maybe you're with your sister-in-law or your brother-in-law, and something was said, and you didn't mean to hurt anybody, but something was said, and from that point on, there was a wall between you and your sister-in-law, you and that relative, where once you got along all the time, your kids got together, but now hardly any phone calls, and you don't like it, but you don't know what to do about it. Unforgiveness is like a trap. It's like a snare that holds you, and it prevents you from being that father, being that mother, being that friend, that Christian that God has called you to be. It immobilizes you. And frankly, I don't know of anybody who likes living in unforgiveness. It's kind of like a poison, you know? It's like drinking poison hoping that your enemy is hurt. It's not going to happen. It's only going to hurt you. The good news is this: Jesus has come to set us free. And He did that by forgiving us of our sins. He told a marvelous parable in Matthew chapter 18 about a guy who owed a lot of money, years and years worth of salary. And that man was called on the carpet by the landowner and said, "You need to pay all this back." And he said, I cannot do this. And the man was going to take him, put him in prison, sell his wife and his family until it was all paid. But then he begged for mercy, and the owner gave mercy. Once he was freed of that incredible debt, he went outside, and guess what? He found someone who owed him just relatively little compared to what he was forgiven. And he put his hands around that guy's neck and he said, "You pay me what you owe me." And the man begged for mercy as he did earlier. But this man, who was just forgiven of so much, refused to forgive and release the man who owed him little. Well, there happened to be some guys standing around, and they heard about it, and they went back to the original master and they said, "You know the guy that you just forgave the millions of dollars to? Well, he just refused to forgive a guy who owed him just a few days' wages." And the master called him back in and he said, "You foolish servant." He said, "I forgave you so much." And he threw him in the jail until he paid back everything. That's what happens in our lives when we are freed from sin by Jesus, yet we refuse to release other people. We find ourselves in bondage again. I think this is one of the hardest parts of being a Christian, actually, because the answer was Jesus suffering on the cross and releasing us of our sin. And He asks us now to go and forgive other people. And we don't do it by magic or just a snap of the finger. We do it the same way He did. We pick up our cross and we offer up our suffering in union with the suffering of Christ. And we make a decision, an act of the will, to forgive and release other people. Now, in this series, Walking Toward Eternity, my wife and I, we go into great detail on this theme of forgiveness because we have found that it affects so many people in life. Everyone we talk to is struggling with this at one level or another. I hope that you will find that peace and that freedom that comes through forgiving and releasing. There's a freshness that takes place, a refreshing inside of your soul that we're all longing for. God bless you, and I'll continue to pray for you that God will help you walk in the freedom that He paid for.